Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is abolishing modern slavery, the penal system in Tennessee. And we're fortunate to have with us to talk about how modern slavery in Tennessee might be abolished, Pastor KWalker and Rev.JAlexander. And of course, Pastor Walker, let me welcome you and Reverend Alexander to the show this morning, and to tell both of you how delighted we are to have you with us this morning, and to know that both of you have some very, very important information dealing with some of the issues in the state of Tennessee. And today we're going to talk about abolishing modern slavery. And I think we've already explained that we're dealing with the penal system. But before we get into that, Pastor, let's have you to give us some information about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in your life. And then Reverend Alexander will give us some additional information. And so by that time, we should be out of this first segment, and then we can go into the second segment talking about the penal system in the state of Tennessee.
All right. Well, Dr. Haney, I'm Pastor KWalker. And first of all, thank you for allowing us the opportunity once again to come on your show and talk about some information that, very relevant, very pertinent information I think everybody needs to know about. I'm a native Nashvilleian. I went to the public school.
I don't know, we did mic checks too.
Yeah, I didn't move or anything.
Well,
Not that
thankfully
I
we're
knew.
not live.
Is it,
All right, we should be good to go now.
Wow. Trying to figure out how that could happen.
well, is it still on?
It was off, the button was in the off position.
Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is abolishing modern slavery, the penal system in Tennessee. And we're fortunate to have with us to talk about efforts to abolish modern slavery in the penal system in Tennessee, Pastor KWalker and Reverend JAlexander. And Pastor Walker, I think that both you and Reverend Alexander have been with us before. And let's start off this show by having the two of you give us some information in reference to your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in terms of bringing you to us this morning. And then by that time, we should be out of the first segment, and then we'll get into efforts to abolish modern slavery in the penal system in the state of Tennessee. Let's do it from that perspective.
Yes, sir. Well, thanks again, Dr. Haney. I'm Pastor KWalker, native Nashvilleian. I want to thank you for been on the battlefield, you've been on the wall for quite some time, and allowing us opportunities to come on and talk about issues. Not only myself, but many, many others on your show talk about a lot of issues that's relevant and pertinent to us as a society, things that we need to know. As I said, I'm a native Nashvilleian, born here in Nashville, Tennessee. Went to the public school systems up until a point. I made it to right at the 10th grade. My first couple of weeks into the 10th grade, I got put out of all the school system in the state in Tennessee. And from there, I went to the Navy. I got involved in some trouble, ended up in the Navy. Did a short period of time in the Navy, got out of the Navy, went through OIC, Opportunities Industrialization Center, got a GED there through a 6-month program. From there, I did a few studies at Tennessee State University back in 75, 76. Strung out on drugs all during the time I was in the military, and even up before then. And then in college, it kind of wrecked my college career at that point. Ended up incarcerated in state prison system, spent 5 years of my life incarcerated. I was a criminal, so I was supposed to be there when I was there. And I don't have a degree in anything, but I have so many different life experiences, and especially things that will bring me to this stage today to share with you and your audience what I believe to be important information.
Very good. Reverend Alexander, Jeannie Alexander, let's give you an opportunity to tell our audience something about yourself.
Sure. Well, Dr. Haney, it's always a pleasure to be here with you and Pastor Walker. I really appreciate this. My background in a nutshell is that I am an attorney and a minister, so it's double trouble. But it's interesting. What I never expected to have happen in my life was to work in a prison. But I did. You know, I left the practice of law in order to pursue theology, and through circumstances and volunteering, I found myself as the head institutional chaplain at a men's maximum security prison here in Nashville, Riverbend. And that experience, talk about education, you know, there's no education like being on the inside of a prison for years. It really teaches you what you don't know. And you know, what it taught me was that an approach to reform or to improving a system that is always from the top down and from the outside looking in is an approach that's destined in some ways to fail. So it was working with families of prisoners and the people on the inside